there are some countries, right? Some third world countries that it does not matter what time you wake up. It does not matter what time you go to bed. It does not matter how hard you work. It does not matter how much you read or how much you study. It doesn't matter. You can go all in. You can give 120%, but because it's a third world country and the resources are not the same, it's not possible for you to be a millionaire. It's not possible for you to see the things you're going to see here in this country. It's just not possible. And so because you live in the United States of America, to much is given, much is required. I'll say it again. To much is given, much is required. And because we live in this country, we will be held accountable for how we took advantage of America. So one of the things I want you to do, I just want to stop real quick, right? And we've got to embrace the fact that we have resources in this country. We've got to embrace the fact that if you never wanted to travel outside the United States of America, I promise you, between all the states, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, you don't have to go anywhere else to see the splendor that you're going to see in this country. There's no other place that you're going to go where they print money every day. Now listen to me very closely. You're going to be held accountable. All of the opportunities, right? So yeah, I was homeless. And I was a high school dropout, so I woke up one day, I was like, yo, E, it's way too much money in this country for you to be a high school dropout. And I went and got my GED, and I went from a GED to a Ph.D. Listen to me. I was living in abandoned buildings before I was considered #1 in the world. And I woke up one day and I realized, Eric Thomas, there is riches all around you, human resources, fiscal resources, material resources. You live in the United States of America. Your daughter deserves the best possible life. Your mama deserves the best possible life. Get your butt out to bed, grind from sunup to sundown, and live the American dream. Now listen to me. I had to realize it exists. They're not going to give it to you, but if you're willing to get up every day and go take it, if you're willing to get up every day and work for it, if you're willing to get up every day and grind for it, you can have the life that other people dream of. Now look, before we get started, I need you to be honest with yourself, right? So we're going to say that the opportunities in America is 120%, right? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to be honest. I want you to write to yourself, what percentage are you giving? If I give it 50%, like for real, E, I'm not talking about what they're asking me for. Like I know in this industry what I'm doing. I know the effort that I'm getting for. I want you to just be honest with you. I'm giving 50%. I'm super talented. I'm giving 50%, right? We're not comparing ourselves to anybody. I'm just saying, what percentage are you giving? ET, I'm giving 70%, right? I'm giving 80%. Maybe you're giving 90%. I don't know. But I want you to write that down and send it to yourself. And I want you to be honest. Nobody's grading you. This is only something you can see, right? And I want you to know that if you want to get to the next level, as your effort and commitment goes up, everything else is going to go up. Look, America is America. But when I was a high school dropout living in abandoned buildings, I did not experience the same America I experience now. Before I had my Ph.D., I was experiencing the American dream, but I'm not experiencing it the way I experienced with a Ph.D., working in schools. Like, this is a total different, before I wrote a book, failed English 3 times, that was a different experience than when I actually finished, got the Ph.D. and began to write books. It's a different experience. So what I want you to do is I want you to stop crying about what's happening externally, and I want you to start Look, I want you to stop playing the blame game. I want you to stop saying that I don't have this, or this isn't happening for me, or I'm not living like other people and I want you to stop playing the blame game. In America, it is possible. And it's also possible that if you're not living it, you're not doing something you're supposed to do. Look, flat out gut check. Why gut check? Because if I do self-assessment, if I really take an inventory on who I am, the level of execution, the level of effort, if I look at my attitude, right, and it's not 120%, and I make the adjustment, listen to what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is we live in America. Everybody can have an ocean view. We live in America. Everybody can have an ocean view. Everybody can fly first class. I can have whatever I want. Why? I live in America. I can fly first class. I can live. So what I'm trying to explain to you before we get started, you are blessed to be in an industry that has a straight path to whatever you want. I said you don't live in a third world country. I said you don't live in a country where they tell you what you can do for a living and how much money you can make and where you go grocery shopping and what you have. I said you live in a country where there is unlimited resource, abundance, and you are in an industry that you can have what you want, be what you want, and do what you want. You ought to be excited about that. I want to make sure you understand something. I'm not saying that they're not going to be obstacles, but you live in America. Can't nobody stop you. I want to make sure that's 100% clear. So when people come to me and tell me, hey, E, we got these problems in this country, this problem, I say, I don't even know what you're talking about. That's not my reality. I don't live in that. I live in abundance. I live in a country where I was homeless and a high school dropout. That my mama got pregnant with me at 17 years old. And she was homeless. And now I'm considered the #1 motivation. Come on, only in America can you start there and get here. And so I want you to write down for me. I want you to write down what you're going to do in the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next 9 months, the next year, for those people whose name you wrote down before we get started. I want you to write that down. What are you going to do for them? Listen to me. I want to say it one more time. They print money. They don't print time. They don't print opportunities. They print money every day. They print it every day. You can lose money and get it back. You can't get time back. You can't get experiences back. You ain't going to necessarily be with the Greek freak. You're not going to be in a place where you can hold a trophy every year. I said they're printing money, don't worship it. I said don't worship it, they print money. Worship getting your time back with your family. Average people focus on money. The greats focus on time. Because I can't get my time back. I can't ever get my time back. Somebody said COVID, I can't get back that COVID year. I can't get it back. Listen to me, they're printing money. There's some stuff I learned doing COVID. You gotta pay me for that. They're printing money. Don't focus on money. They print money. Focus on finding out what you do well. Finding out the gaps that you can fill. Find out what you can do. Listen to me. People talk about the pandemic. What do you think about the pandemic? Listen to me. Our company blew up in the first recession in 2008, 2009. The first one. Why? Because we've started providing a service to the world that nobody else was providing. Well, I shouldn't say that. We start providing in a way. I want you to think about what you do. How can you do what you do in a way that nobody else does? So I shouldn't say we didn't produce anything. We didn't create anything. Les Brown was doing it, Tony Robinson was doing it. But they weren't doing it the way we were doing it. Watch this. I did the same thing they were doing it, but I did it a different way. I found the gap. Find the gap. Don't complain. Don't murmur. Don't talk negative. Average people talk normal. Average people talk problems. The greats talk solutions. Average people use their time to whine and complain. Average people say it's their boss' fault. It's their mother's fault. It's their average people. I used to be average. I used to say, when is my daddy coming to get me? When is my biological father gonna come in my life? And while I would talk like that, I ended up getting kicked out of school. And while I talked like that, I ended up being homeless. And while I talked like that, I was broke. And then one day I woke up and said, Eric, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to get you. But you can go to the library and get yourself. You can start reading books. You can go back to school. You can start coming to conferences. I went from an average way of talking and behaving to taking ownership.